Hello, hello, and welcome to Just Cindy Jean on Radio Fraternité. So this evening we had a little bit technical difficulties, but don't worry, we're back on live, and we were talking about a continuation from last week when we are talking about the SMART goals and how to do SMART goals. And it's not fair to give you instructions on how to do something and not really apply it to your personal life. Having goals is great. Being able to be specific on your goals, being able to measure them, have a time frame is great. But when you put all that together on paper and then you raise your head up and you look around you and you see laundry needs to be done, dinner needs to be cooked, homework needs to be looked at, papers need to be signed, and you also have to do payroll and bookkeeping. If this is the executive that you're looking to be, so sometimes we have families. We're in this. Sometimes we find ourselves in this imbalance where we are living a double life where you are somebody at home to your family. Because for me, I love to be a mom. I love to be Nana. I love to be auntie. I love to be the cousin. So when I'm in that environment, I love to play that role and I play it well. And when we sit down and write our goals, we don't think about those things. We don't think about how is it going to affect the people around us. I touched base a little bit last week on making sure that your goals are ecological. Ecological meaning, who does it affect on on your wheel of life? All of us have a wheel of life, commitments and responsibilities that we've picked up along the journey of adulthood. And when we apply these goals, they affect those commitments and responsibilities that we've set up for ourselves prior to those goals. So for me to just say, hey, this is a way to set up goals and be successful in life, that 95% of people who have goals succeed 100%, and not look at the reality of it. I have a young lady that is in school, and she's looking at her future, her adulthood, becoming an adult, getting a place to stay, what town does she want to live in, what type of career. So this is a really exciting but also nervous time for her. And one thing that I tell her, just remember your commitments and responsibilities. Don't put too much on your plate. Make sure that your goals, your long-term goals, are aligned with your short-term goals, with where you presently are, with the commitments and responsibilities that you put on your plate. Because sometimes we go through life without focusing on goals, and then we pick up responsibilities and commitments. We'll see a dog and say, a stray dog, oh, that's so cute, and bring it home with us, and not realize that now we just had an extra vet. We have an extra doctor's bill. We have a vet bill. If that dog bites somebody, now we have a possible lawsuit or doctor's bill for someone. A lot of commitments and responsibilities that we pick up along the way on our journey. And as a mom that is also in the corporate world, it's not an easy thing to balance. And I feel as though we have to revisit ourselves, that we have to reinvent our wheel. A lot of people don't feel as though they can do that, reinvent their wheel of life, the things that's surrounding their existence. For me, myself, I feel as though, me personally, let's not say I feel as though, me personally, have gone through this shift several times in life where your mindset changes, you get a little bit more mature, your goals get bigger, they get more specific, and you see that the things that you have built in your environment, the commitments and responsibilities that you've taken on, don't bring you value. They actually take away and distract you. They actually distract you from your true potential and your true goals. The more things that we surround ourselves with, the more people that we commit to, the more people that we commit to in our lives, and the more things that we start accumulating in our lives, I believe those things are attachments that can hold us down. People get comfortable where they're at, and then one day decide that, okay, where I'm at, I'm no longer comfortable. So let's put these SMART goals together. But you're still in this area and you have this higher vision of going someplace else. And during that journey, I see a lot of people fail. A lot of people get lost because they don't realize that they have to cut the ties, certain commitments and responsibilities that they had in the past, that they no longer can effectively take on anymore. Those commitments and responsibilities no longer bring value to your life. So therefore you have to cut them off and focus on the 5%. Focus on the people that are in the background rooting you on. The people who are always there supporting you and thinking about you. Focus on applying your SMART goal on a daily basis. The more you take off your plate from this level that doesn't bring you any more value, the easier it will be for you to elevate to the next level of your existence, of your life, of your business, of your personal life, of your physical health. Even if someone's losing weight, if you want to lose weight, there's a certain things that you used to eat, you can't eat no more. I used to have a sweet tooth. I always have a Snickers bar. Everybody knew I'd have a Snickers bar on deck, quick, fast. I'd have a Snickers bar on deck, quick, fast. I wouldn't leave home without it. It's in the freezer just to go in my pocketbook. While I'm out, I have to stop at the convenience store or the gas station to get me a little pick-me-up Snickers bar. Now, I don't know the last time I had something sweet because my commitments and responsibilities, the things, my goals change. My lifestyle goals had changed where I didn't want to live, I didn't want to have a future on being diabetic because it ran in my family. I didn't want to have a future with high blood pressure. So I had to make that executive decision for myself and say, that has to end. It has to stop somewhere. And that place that it stopped for me was at 40. I had read somewhere that at the age of 40, you stop rejuvenating cells. cell stop building. It takes a little bit longer, so I'm like, oh man, I gotta keep my beauty. So, so I better get it together. So for us, for someone like me, having these goals and these long-term goals, it's not easy because we have these commitments and responsibilities. Again, we have the family attachments, we have business attachments, friendships, and sometimes you have to let go of certain ties or certain type of relationships, the way that the relationship used to be. Maybe you had a friend that you used to go out with all the time, and every Friday or Saturday night you would go out. But if you go back to school, can you go out every Friday, Saturday night? You can't. So the relationship looks different. It's in a different dynamic because your goals change. So always remember when you're putting your SMART goals together to think about, is it ecological for me? Does it make sense for my family? Is this something that I can be 100% responsible for? Don't forget the R and SMART. Can you be 100% responsible for it? Because eliminating things from your life is very, very difficult. I think eliminating is harder for me than creating a new habit. Creating a new habit, I could put a reminder, I could put an alarm on my phone, I can do all types of things that's going to assist me with that new habit to get my goal every single day and accomplish it. But then you have those commitments and responsibilities from your past, present life that you haven't been able to eliminate or delegate to other people that are keeping you distracted from those goals. So, what do you do? For me, you sit down and you write down a hit list. That's what I call it. I call it the hit list. You write down your hit list. What doesn't serve you? Where are you spending most of your time? What are you spending your time doing? And looking at where your mindset is, where your attention is, where is your physical body at that time? How does your physical body feel at certain times of the day? Where's your energy? Because how your body feels is telling you where your energy is. You have to constantly keep it in the forefront of your mind. In the midst of doing everything else, in the midst of all the chaos and the things that you're trying to accomplish, you have to keep those goals in the forefront of your mind. And it's not an easy task. It's not an easy task, especially when you're distracted. So, when building our goals, ladies and gentlemen, are you prepared to eliminate certain things from your life? Are you prepared to take the sacrifice? I think everything that we do in life, we have to make a sacrifice. You have to say enough is enough. You have to have that one-to-one with yourself in the mirror and really say, okay, what is it going to take to level up? What is it going to take for me to do what it everything that I possibly can do to reach this goal? because 100% you. Nobody else is responsible for it. You're going to have to do the hard things. You're going to have to do it with tears in your eyes. I was reading this book on organization. I'll put it afterwards, the name of the book and the author's name. But she was talking about how she had to get time for herself, away from her family, with little children at an early stage in her marriage, in having children, where she realized that her life was no longer hers anymore. She was living for her home. She was a slave to her home, a slave to her children, a slave to her husband, a slave to the extracurricular activities, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, all this other stuff. And there was nothing left at the end of the day for her. She wasn't happy with it. So she decided to do something about it. And her approach, I really liked it. Like, this show is about insights, different approaches on life and balancing life. And what her approach was to her family was, hey, I have a life too. I'm a person as well that has dreams, hopes, and aspirations. So I want to work on my goals. I want to work on me. And I need my time to work on me. And I'm going to give the family their time. And she said it wasn't easy. And I bet it wasn't. To have little children and to tell the little children that they can't come and see mommy. She used to close the door and set an alarm. That once the alarm ring at 7:00, she comes out the room. But before 7, don't look for her. Because she's having her time where she writes, where she does her inspirational work. That's her time. Don't bother her. And I think she said she had her youngest child when she implemented this with the family. Her youngest child was about 1 year old, I believe she said in the book. And she said there were some days that she cried, that she was in that room bawling because the baby wants her. Mama. Don't want nobody else. Don't want daddy. Don't want nobody else. But she had to implement the plan. If you don't, implementation is about doing the difficult, about cutting off the old habits, the old routines, making change happen. That's where implementation happens. And with that said, is sometimes you're going to have tears in your eyes. Sometimes it's going to be difficult. Sometimes your heart is going to ache. But it's only for today. It's not forever. It's only for today. You have to keep your goals in mind. That's how come it's important when you do the SMART goals. That is this something that you really want? Because the only way you're going to accomplish it is if you really, really want it. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to give? Are you willing to stay up till 2:00 in the morning? Are you willing to do 24-hour days? What are you willing? How much are you going to push yourself to accomplish your goals? There's people that go into the military and go through humiliation, go through mental deprivation, physical deprivation, because they have a goal. And then some people can't make it. Some people can't take it. They're not strong enough. They haven't, it's not that they're not strong enough. I take that back. They haven't bought in 100% to go through all that. Maybe they bought in only 90%. Because you'll see some people, they'll be in a program, in those military programs for 90 days out of a 120-day program or a 100-day program, 10 days short. And they're like, you know what? I'm done. I'm out of here. Enough is enough. This is not it. So how much are you willing to push yourself? How much are you willing to give up? What are you willing to cut off? Who are you willing to cut off? We've spoken about timelines and looking at what are you spending your day doing? What are you spending your 24 hours doing? Where are you spending most of your time? Most of your attention? And 9 out of 10 times, we surprise ourselves where we find we might be on the telephone talking with a certain somebody a little bit more than we should. When we track our time, some people might realize, hey, I go outside for a smoke break every 15 minutes, for 15 minutes smoke break. Can't get nothing done, you know? So what are we doing with our time? Are we on Facebook scrolling? Are we texting, checking other people's social media pages? Are we sleeping? Some people, man, sleep like 12-hour days, 16-hour days. They go to work, come home, and just sleep. Check out. Just straight check out of this world. Part of living, not existing, but part of living. People can choose to exist or people can choose to live in this world. Part of living is waking up every day, working towards something that you want. That's what living is. Existing is getting up every day and doing what society or others expect from you. We sometimes lose track of who we are because we're looking to fill our journey with material things, with people, friends, children, husbands, wives, and all this other stuff. And we forget who we truly are and what we're truly here to do is to be the best existence of ourselves. I was thinking today, why don't we know, people don't know how to, like Prince, he knew how to play, I think like 25 instruments or something ridiculous, all self-taught. And that's having time to focus on yourself, on your craft. Just learning, I think just learning who you are, taking some time every day for yourself, like that author did. Every morning she closed her door, whether it's her husband or her kids, it doesn't matter. Nobody's allowed to bother her. She took that time for herself to find that balance and the courage to work towards her goals, her personal aspirations and dreams for her future, for her family's future. And she also was able to find balance for her family within that. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, I understand the difficulties of goal setting. But when you have something that's that important to you, when you find that one thing, that voice that speaks to you inside, and it's like, man, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it. As long as you know that this voice is real, as long as you know that you can make it happen, if anybody can do it, you can do it, then that's yours. And you should be focusing 95% of your attention on it. I know a lot of people are like, 95%, why not 100? Well, the other 5% for the other stuff. You have to live. You have to have life. The other 5% for the other stuff. To go outside and take a walk. To learn something new. All aligned with your goals. All aligned with finding balance in our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the commitments and responsibilities are always going to be there. It's up to us to sit down and take a look to see where and what no longer serves us value, no longer can be with us on this journey. What are those things that are holding us down? A lot of us go through life settling. Just okay. I have a job, even though you have hopes and ambitions, but I don't understand. Like, some people just don't go after it. So with the executive lifestyle system, maybe it's because some people don't know how to put their goals together. Because that's a possibility too. I was that person. I used to be that person that I had to go out and say, okay, I want to be intentional. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what it meant, goal setting. I want to be intentional with my life. That was what I called it, being intentional with my life. I want to wake up every day with intent. I want to wake up with what I'm supposed to do today. What am I supposed to be thinking today? How am I supposed to be feeling today? And be intentional about it. So that was the beginning of the lifestyle journey. It wasn't a system back then. It was a lifestyle journey where instead of life doing this with you, the ups and downs of life, and riding on that chaotic roller coaster of the ups and downs, it's throughout the vibrations to find that balance, that peace, to just watch it go by. That's being intentional for me. That no matter what's going on, I know where I'm heading. I know where I should be. Sometimes we might spend a little bit too much time paying attention to the wrong stuff. But as long as every day is a day of intent, every day is a day that we're intentional, that we started focused on us, focused on our goals, on the things that we want for us, for your personal being, it's hard to get distracted. It's easier to say no to the things that aren't for you. It's easier to feel that what's the word? Intuition. To recognize intuition. Your intuition is your subconscious mind speaking to you. So when you're spending time on something that doesn't bring you value, you'll start recognizing that. You'll feel it. Respond to that. Respond to that feeling. That maybe you entered a vortex of chaos that you have to walk away from. Or maybe there's something around you that you have to pay attention to. Life is a balancing act. Of intentions. I was listening to this Islamic prayer yesterday. I listened to different stuff. I try to be as cultured as possible. And I was listening to this Islamic prayer yesterday. And the guy was saying to keep your goals and your intentions in your mind 5 times a day in prayer, to Allah. And I thought that was interesting, the way he had spoke about their prayer service and how they should be praying with intent. I've never heard those two things put together so eloquently before. So having a moment to check yourself, the same way I spoke to you about doing your timeline and documenting what are you doing, where are you spending most of your time. How about if you had specific times, 5 times out the day, that an alarm went off and you just paused and checked yourself? Am I in a place that's bringing me value right now? Have I been spending since my last check-in with myself, have I done anything that's going to bring me closer to my goals? That's it. Just being intentional and having those moments of intent. People think that, having a goal, they have to hammer it, hammer it, hammer it. That's how you're going to get yourself sick. That's how you're not going to be focused. That's it. That's the reverse of it all. But having those moments of intention, of being intent, of being focused, doing those audits throughout the day of what are you doing with your time? Where's your mind? Who are you speaking to? Are you bringing value? Are you receiving value? Is this going to bring you closer to your goals? When you start doing those things, it's going to be easier for you to get out of the chaos, to get out of the 95% distraction and walk into a 95% intention. I get distracted all the time. I love glittery things. I love to have fun. I love to laugh. I love people. I love to talk. But I also have an alarm on my phone that lets me know what time it is. And I know what that alarm means to me. These are just ways I've set up for myself to give myself a check throughout the whole day. Am I okay with being here right now? Do I feel comfortable in this setting? Is it time that I go? Is this serving me? The more accustomed you get to asking yourself those questions, you're going to see that before making a decision, you ask yourself those questions. Before making a commitment, we spoke about commitments and responsibilities. Before taking on any commitments and responsibilities on your journey of life, you're going to ask yourself those questions. Is this going to serve me? How is it going to serve me? Is it going to take me closer to my goals? Or is it something that's going to slow me down? Some people make emotional decisions in life. Without having a system to check your decisions before taking them on 100%. That's how you end up with responsibilities and commitments that you didn't want, that don't serve you, that make life a little bit harder for you. Give yourself that audit before making a decision. Take a minute and breathe and think about it. Every single day, you should be thinking about your commitments and responsibilities. Does this serve you? Is this going to take you closer to your goals? Are you 100% responsible for this commitment, for this responsibility, for this goal? Sometimes we attach ourselves with other people or different environments. We attach ourselves with material things or even drugs and alcohol, entertainment. And we don't realize that it's taking over our lives. That we're focusing more on those things than we should be. So having a check-in system, a review system for yourself is really important. Check in with yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Even if you're working towards goals, have daily check-ins, weekly check-ins, monthly check-ins, quarterly check-ins, and you should be checking on different things. You know, we're going to talk in detail next week about those check-ins, those audits, and what they should look like. Well, on my insights and what I share, okay, with what I'm looking to share with you guys on doing those audits for yourself to make sure that you're on track of where you're supposed to be according to you, your map of success, what you want to do. So thank you again for tuning in. on Radio Fraternité every single Thursday night, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. You will find me here, just Cindy Jean, talking about executive lifestyle, mindset, our system, the executive lifestyle system, which helps broaden our mindset by bringing you insights on different lifestyle techniques. So tune in, like I said, every Thursday on Radio Fraternité. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe and like